Good morning. Today I'm going to take you on a bit of a tour of some of my favourite views in Somerset. I have lived in Somerset for most of my life, really. I wasn't born here, but both my parents were born here. We moved back to Somerset when I was about 10 years old. And then I lived in Somerset in various towns and villages until I was about 33 when we moved to Bristol. I'd always wanted to live in Bristol. I think so much so that it became a bit of a thing where when we talked about it, B would do like, when we moved to Bristol, in inverted commas, as though it was never going to happen. But when we did move to Bristol, I really missed the Somerset countryside. So I really kind of missed just being able to drive 5 or 10 minutes and be out on the hills. So the first place I've brought you to is kind of the central point between the drive between Taunton and Bridgewater, which takes you up over the Quantocks. And you can just go on the M5 and it is quicker, but it's really not as pretty. So I'm going to show you the view now. Okay, so I've brought you to the garden of the Pines Cafe, which is pretty much like the top of the hill. So you drive up the hill, oh, there's a tractor, very Somerset. You drive up the hill from Taunton or Bridgewater and then down the other side, and there's a little cafe at the top which is closed at the moment, so I had to climb over the gate and sneak into their garden. But it's one of my favourite views because you just kind of feel a bit like you're on top of things. I'm going to take you over here, see if you can see it. There's a house down here where it was rumoured for a while that Johnny Depp was moving. Can you see it just through the trees there? Now, I don't think that would be too shabby if you were Johnny Depp. There were rumours of him spotted in the local pub, although I suspect the pub landlord had something to do with those rumours. From the top up here, you can go one of 5 ways. You can go back down to Taunton. You can go across the other side down to Bridgewater. You can go off to your left into Bishop's Lydeard. You can go to your right towards Broomfield, or you can go down past Johnny Depp's house towards Nether Stowey, and that's where I'm going to take you now. Hello. Okay, so we drove down past Johnny Depp's house for about 5 minutes or so, and then we took a right turn, signposted as Spaxton, and now we're here at Hawridge Reservoir. Hawridge Reservoir is a kind of special view to me because it always makes me think of my gran. When my grandparents were alive, they all lived in Bridgewater for, well, my dad's parents lived in Somerset for an awful long time, but my mum's parents moved back to Somerset kind of when we did, a bit after we did when I was about 10, and they lived in Bridgewater. And every Saturday morning my gran would drive over the hills to Taunton, because Taunton had a Marks and Spencer, and she would go in Marks and Spencer and she would go in the county stores for a cup of tea, and she would go to the library to change her books. She liked kind of crime novels. And then when she came back, she would drive back over the hills, and when she got to the Pines Cafe, she would come down the route I've just come down and stop at Hawridge Reservoir and look at the view and read some of her new library books. And so that's why it's kind of special to me. So I've stopped here lots of times over the years, and I'm going to show you the view now. Okay, so this is the view out over the reservoir, and I have to say I've never seen the water so low in my whole life. Normally, you see where it's kind of muddy banks over there and then goes up to green. Normally the water is all the way up to the grass, and I just sent my mum a text and a picture saying, why is Hawridge Reservoir so low? So I don't know whether there's a particular reason, or whether I've just caught it at a low time. So yeah, this is Hawridge Reservoir. It's beautiful because it's surrounded by trees, obviously. Normally there's a bit more water and you get lots of birds and ducks that you can bring little toddlers along to feed, and then the surrounding area is just all trees. There's always someone parked at Hawridge Reservoir. And then you can go for a walk up in the woods over there if you want to, and it's just generally very pretty. And so when I park up here, you can park and face the water like this. I just kind of imagine my gran sat there looking out over the water with her latest crime novel. I'm going to take you back up to the top now and then down in a different direction. Okay, so the final stop on our tour is Hestercombe. Hestercombe is made up of kind of two parts really. There's a landscape garden and a formal garden. The landscape garden is absolutely beautiful. It's where we've come for loads of walks as a family. And I guess you could say that Hestercombe, whereas the other places have had more of a connection with the family sort of above me, this has more of a connection with my children and the family below me. So we've come here loads as a family, especially when the children were younger. We've been here to see Father Christmas, we've done Easter egg hunts. I once nearly fell off the side of one of the hills in the landscape garden on a Halloween spooky tour because I had Belle kind of on a hip and I overbalanced and somebody had to catch me, so that was exciting. But today I have brought you to the formal garden because, well, it's beautiful, as you'll see in a minute. This is my very favourite bit of the formal garden at Hestercombe. It's a big fountain that was always Belle's favourite bit when we used to come here for a walk when she was a toddler. We'd come quite often with my friend Lucy and her daughter Ella, and Belle and Ella were kind of pretty small. They could stand and just reach over into the water, and they put their chubby little hands into the fountain bits coming out the side, and it was just very cute. It makes me think of those times with them. The view from up here is beautiful. The sun's over there, so I don't know if that will spoil the picture as we go round. You can see, as well as the gardens themselves, you've got a really gorgeous view out over the Somerset countryside. So Hestercombe is the final stop on our tour. I hope you've enjoyed seeing some of my favourite places in Somerset, and maybe it's inspired you to come and visit. Thank you.